What a great trade we caught on NQ today. This is a 275 point move from right here, this entry low to right under that 5-minute CISD right here. Refer to the 5-minute. Let's just go over our cycles. Today was XAMD. What I was expecting was a continuation to all-time highs. If we just look at our week so far on the 5-minute, that's a little hard actually. Let's go to the 15 and we can see. So looking at our high and low of the week, we created a DC in the middle of our week. That is our discount protected low on the high time frame. From there, we create an expansion range and traded above true week open, above true month open, which is down here, and created a daily cycle with ES. So with that daily cycle, what I did was looked at true day open mitigation, true New York open mitigation, because we had the daily cycle and we had the SMT with London low, which looked more like it's a doubling daily cycle, but it also can be used as a 90-minute. If it's a doubling daily cycle, as we had this microcycle here, we had all three aligned, so I was looking to take a longer trade, and that's why this ended up being 3 hours. It was a pretty long trade. So coming into our 1-minute open, expecting manipulation. In manipulation, we can take true day open off. We can see it's mitigated. And this 4-hour entry is really what I wanted to take my entry off of, because I noticed coming in we're having accumulation style. This could be expansion, but after this manipulation with the microcycle, I was certain that it was manipulation. And distribution, I wasn't going to wait for 9:45 because the signs were there. We had a 1-minute, we had a 2-minute right here inversing. Off of that, this was a very, very low risk position. I could have sized up more, to be honest, but it was happening so quick. I just sized in with what I had on, which was 5 contracts. So I entered in about there. No, I didn't. It was like a 28 point stop. So that was my stop loss. And I exited because of this 5-minute CISD right here. You can see I also exited because of 12 a.m. price, and that's because it is the second 90-minute candle, and usually the 90-minute candle likes to rebalance the range. So looking on the 90-minute, that was our reversal, coming down to wick this and come actually much further down than I thought, because we created this 90-minute gap. So another reason why I exited right there, that's a great exit and entry. Look, we're in the wick of the 90-minute, and that's really what my model preaches, especially when we're holding for a longer time frame. That 90-minute and this 4-hour, we want to be in at the wick and get out at the wick. We want to trade the entire body's move. That is really the whole reason for trading that. If you look on the 1-hour, there isn't much help. That's why I like to use the 90-minute, because it's correlated to the actual cycles that we're trading off of. Coming into the 15, our fractal time frames, the continuation was pretty sloppy. On the 15, you really had to watch the 5-minute today. That's what we were basing our continuations off of. You can see this SMTF right here, and this just inversion that we created on the 2-minute to take us up higher. This was our 10 a.m. opening price and 10 a.m. long. If we just get rid of ES, because we get the point. ES and Q were just so correlated today. It was a great day. Off of this, I was surprised that it came to fill more than CE of this candle, but I gave it room to breathe. Technically, we can get up to a sweep of this and still be in the trade, especially if that makes an SMT. So by this time, I was break even. I had my stop under the 4-hour, and looking at 4-hour CE really as the small profit that it would take for a winning day. But I really wanted to hold this up to our all-time highs that we had. The all-time highs that we had right here were 210 points away. In the 30-minute PO3, we created a large range. I was up 200 points, and then it came down to 44 points, which is where our OTE is if we do it off the microcycle change. And our safe stop is in that 80% range, which is under that 4-hour. So I knew I was safe for high time frame continuation off of this. Then we look at ES again, looking for that reason for reversal. We have this sweep right here, and also I'm pretty sure we had but this sweep right here was the small sweep that we needed to move higher, which was honestly really surprising. I thought that this would definitely get taken out, at least this candle low. But off of that, I was looking at the 5-minute after that because we were trading much slower than our opening 30-minute move. So off of this, we have our delayed 5-minute expansion. That's because we're entering a new cycle. So our microcycles were pretty slow, I noticed. AM was the only quick one. Distribution, expansion was a little slower, especially expansion right here. It almost looked like accumulation. But I knew that was wrong when I saw that this was actually accumulation and manipulation was happening here. Then from this time, I was in for the trade for a little over 2 hours. Off of this, I'm looking to exit because, yes, I did want to break my trade record and get a 400-point trade, but that was really illogical for just a day's movement, especially because we've moved so much this week already, and we're kind of like stalling in all-time highs now, and we're not making those big expansion days like we did in the beginning. So on the 15-minute, I'm looking to trail my stop. Initially, it was right there. Then when I saw this tap right here, I knew that we could make a really small stop loss and basically get our higher than our target for the day and have our trail to be there. So off of that, I was looking at 12 p.m. to see if it was going to use that and either create a 5-minute CISD to trade lower to our post 10 a.m. low, which would be much lower, but this is our discount low of the range, which we hit on ES and basically hit here, probably hit on NQ. But after this 5-minute CISD, actually before that, I exited because this 12 p.m., just on the 1 minute, it looked like it was reversing. We had an SMT, a very slight SMT right here between these two highs on ES and NQ. And after that, it was the timing of it that really made me think that we were going to switch over because we had a new cycle in the 90-minute. So my whole recent exit is we have a new cycle. I don't know whether it's going to be A or X on the 90-minute or the micro. So coming in, I thought this was accumulation. Either manipulation would move lower, closer to where I'd want to exit, but still exit like at less profit that I had. The manipulation would move lower and the distribution would move higher, or if it was accumulation, it would be accumulation, manipulation would move lower, distribution would move higher, and then expansion might move higher too. That was the narrative I was going off of. And honestly, I didn't want to wait that long because either this could be accumulation and the whole range just sucks, or it's expansion and the whole range is going to be really volatile and it's going to move down against me first, which I don't want. So I decided to exit there, and that was really the best place to exit, to be honest, because you saw in the 90-minute, that was where the body closed for the whole reversal right here. So great place to exit. And that was the whole trade setup for the day. It was 1 to 10 R. I risked about 300, like a little close to 300. I think it was 280, something like that, like 28 points. So it was a really great trade. I was thinking about pyramiding in, and the only reason I didn't is because I didn't want to move my stop anywhere into the 4 hour. And that was just because at this time I was expecting a wick down and it could easily come to CE of that. And that would be like really close to my stop loss, which would be like 10 points away at that point. So I didn't want to add to the position. I just let it run and tested my patience, and we collected some great data and saw this short happening also. So that is it. We'll see if we get a trade tomorrow. I'm going to lower size. I just want to get winning days at this moment. So we'll see what's happening. This short, actually, I'm referring to it now. I remember it last week. We had Thursday short and the same time sweeping all-time high and then retracing, sweeping this low, and then expanding higher. Probably going to create a discount low for us to sweep for Friday if we're going to move even higher all-time highs. But I saw this Thursday, and I do want to note the regular trading hours as well today, because the regular trading hours help so much today as well. But that's what I'm thinking. I think we're going to dump in Asia and then move up higher tomorrow. So if we just align... Actually, let's just get rid of this so we can get rid of True Microcycle. It's the same entry as always, guys. Like, it's always the same entry. It's just happened really quick today. and sometimes it just be that way, and you got to get in on it, or you're gonna. And sometimes it just be that way because you got to be fast, or you're not gonna get in the move at all. Sometimes that's just how it is. So the quarters right here off of the open were so quick. I mean that sweep right here. Let's look at ES, and you can see we didn't even have a sweep, so we were just extending off of that open, and that open I used as an inversion, and because we didn't touch anything on ES, we just expanded. I was clear to long after that small little swing divergence, and so my entry was so close to that. I wanted to enter in the new daily opening gap because of that, because I had an entry so low. It was just the most likely to happen in the 30-minute PO3 because expanding in the open PO3 means that these highs on regular trading hours, these near highs, near True New York, if we pull that up, they're going to get taken because we need a reverse to create, because we need a reverse to take our other initiative. So right here, this would have been taken, True New York, wherever True New York is. So these True New York highs, right, True Microcycle, these True New York highs right here, this 90-minute microcycle high that was bearish, but it just really trendline liquidity for us to get because our other cycles had higher conviction and it had gap alignment. So off of that, that would have been the targets quickly for the 30-minute PO3 and probably these highs. It was honestly amazing that we didn't hit all-time highs. We just edged it that much. But you had great re-entry off 10 a.m. and off 10:30. Actually, I don't think it was too bad either. 10:30 being, I used this entire candle. But 10:30, we just came, swept that low, and just continued higher. Off this inversion for value gap, on the 2-minute, you could enter. And that was also like the point where I thought if we move any lower, we're going to come sweep something. So like sweep that low, or in this 10 a.m. sweep before we come up higher. But it just happened off the 5-minute right here. So that's when I noticed that the 5-minute was just delivering better than the 15. So I didn't expect like a really, really big move to happen, but I still wanted to see if I can get a couple hundred points. So we ended up getting 270. So it wasn't really all that bad. Here's the 5-minute I was looking at for us to hold up to get to those highs, because they were just creating equal highs, more highs, we're at all-time highs, we get it. So I just continued to hold because there was no reason to sell after this. Really could have had a trailed stop to that. I still just had it at the bottom because I just left it there. So you could have trailed stop here. I wouldn't have done it up here. I decided to trail up all the way up here because that was just the most logical place to have it, because it was around time for me to exit the trade, and price was looking like it was gonna do a retrace that would take 2-3 hours. So I just did not want to be part of that whatsoever, and who can blame me? So there we go. That is our trade recap. Pretty nice trade. I'm proud of it. It's definitely going to be a great one to add to the collection, to the data, and I will see you in the next video.